Hello folks, I have got some very exciting news for Beast of Reincarnation today, as just only a few hours ago, IGN dropped a brand new gameplay preview that has revealed tons and tons of additional details for the game. You can be forgiven for not knowing what Beast of Reincarnation is prior to this video, and so if you want to catch up, I do have a handful of videos already, but this game will be releasing on the 4th of August, coming to Steam, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X, with it also being a Day 1 Game Pass release. Now, along the way, I'll be mentioning many other confirmed mechanics and gameplay systems that we already know about, but are not featured in this video. And so, consider this a really good deep dive into almost all of this game's gameplay mechanics and systems. Anyway, as usual, we are not wasting any time, so let's get started. Now, we are starting with all of the really juicy stuff, such as we have it confirmed that different swords can be enhanced with different enhancement levels, and they all come with entirely different passive abilities too. We've obviously no idea how many there will be, but the list could be quite extensive. In addition to this, we have it confirmed that armor types are also a thing. We haven't seen the stats or how many slots we have, i.e. chest, hands, legs, feet, etc., but there are at least definitely different armor types within the game. Previously, this was completely unknown, and up until now, it was assumed they weren't a thing. Prior to this, we knew that swords could be changed and upgraded, but didn't know the exact details. We knew we had a hand crossbow and bow already, but seemingly these can be changed for different types along the way too. And then we knew we already had soul stones, which are basically where a large part of the build variety comes from. We also have different ammo types for the crossbow and bow that can be upgraded, and presumably all of this is done inside of the mech, which I think is called Borera. The mech is of course our mobile hub of operations, but right here we can see we can upgrade its abilities in 3 different ways, these 3 being power, calculations and knowledge. This appears to be directly connected with these mechanics here, being item and skill research for Ku, but we also have it confirmed that crafting and cooking are both mechanics too, so who knows what else may be possible whilst within the mech itself. We already knew we used the mech to travel between this game's many different large open areas, and we would return to it to rest, upgrade, manage our gear, etc. But now we have a lot more details, helping to paint a much clearer picture. As just mentioned, this game is not open world and instead features many different regions or areas to explore. Each area is said to have at least one Nushi, which is basically the main boss of that area, and we'll circle back to the Nushi shortly. We've no idea how big these maps are, but we can see from this map here that it does at least look quite sizable. And then when considering the game's focus on verticality, as well as caves, bunkers, and basically various dungeon-like areas, there appears to be a lot more to explore than first meets the eye. We already knew that we can travel back and forth between these areas quite freely once we've discovered them through the main story, and it's presumed that backtracking with new movement abilities to then complete previous puzzles and access previously inaccessible areas will be part of the experience too, kind of like a Metroidvania. As a quick little side note, it's said that Ku also locates enemies and hidden loot along the way, which is a nice touch, but we've no idea the full extent of these passive exploration abilities. Locked doors, combination puzzles, platforming puzzles, environmental puzzle solving, and again backtracking will of course all play a part in this. We've no idea how far or deep these puzzles go, but they will absolutely be taking up a portion of the experience for anyone looking to complete everything. Now, within all of these areas are many different campfires that we would use to of course rest and possibly fast travel between, but little else is known about them for now. Presumably, these will be outside of boss areas and act as checkpoints like we'd all expect. Next, we have our first real look at this game's first boss, which is this stag Nushi right here. Presumably, we will come across the Nushi of each area multiple times, resulting in multiple fights, until eventually forcing them to retreat to their lair, where the final showdown takes place. Prior to this, we already knew that these Nushi harness incredible power that Emma then consumes upon defeating them. And then of course we have much smaller enemy types called Malefacts, which make up a lot of the enemy roster, along with these mechanical golems too. Now, something that we can really see in action within this footage is the game's movement abilities, and I do have to say, this looks better than ever. 3 main movement abilities have been shown off in all of the footage so far, being the grapple hook, the vine bridge, and then the vine stilts for jumping higher. We already knew the grapple could be used on surfaces other than direct grapple points, but grapple points do still exist in certain places for convenience sake. But then, to see these abilities combined with one another, and to get a really good look at just how fluid, fast, and free all of the movement is, I am now even more excited. Of course, we've no idea as and when we receive these abilities, or if any others exist, but I do think from what we've seen so far, this does look really, really fun. Now, an absolutely massive topic and something we've got tons of additional details for would be combat. Firstly, it has been confirmed that the only core way to replenish Q's charges are to consistently parry enemy attacks, putting this game more in line with Sekiro than, say, Nier Automata. It could still be that perfect dodges have this effect, but as of right now, there seems to be a high focus on parrying. With that said, the parry window is reported to be quite forgiving, and this game has multiple different difficulty levels, which can be changed from the pause menu at any time, meaning we should all be able to tweak the experience to our liking. These charges that Q receives from parries are of course used to activate his abilities, which are tied to slowing combat down and choosing whichever one suits the scenario best. Whenever Q uses these abilities, he also heals Emma, and then each ability has a quick time event, and upon completing these, he'll actually heal Emma for more. These start off quite basic, but as he gets stronger abilities and upgrades them, the quick time events are said to become more challenging. Outside of this, Q absolutely just attacks off his own accord, and his behaviour can be changed between different states. We don't know them all, but we can do things like send him ahead or have him fall back. Prior to all of this, we already knew that both Emma and Q have their own individual skill trees, which are leveled up respective from one another. They also both have their own inventory screens, and whilst we've seen Emma's and know a fair bit about her equipment and upgrades, we still haven't seen any of Q's skill tree or inventory just yet. Now, as a few additional side notes, Overdrive, which is kind of like Emma's ultimate skill, is confirmed to be an ability that slows down time and allows you to act quickly within it. These charges, however, can still be used to cast some of Emma's own unique abilities. We do also see some of the skills in a little more depth now. We see Q consistently spitting fireballs and setting enemies ablaze, as well as these vines that lock down an entire boss mid-combat. I've mentioned it before, but there does seem to be a really big focus with this game's power fantasy. In some other games, things like ice spells will consistently freeze normal enemies, yet do nothing of the same to an actual boss. And so it's really nice to see that seemingly within Beast of Reincarnation, we won't need to make any hard changes to our builds to adjust for bosses. They seem just as susceptible to our abilities as anything else is, and outside of direct counters like using fire attacks on a fire creature, it seems that we will have quite a lot of control and power when it comes to the battlefield. Now, this is something I'd usually not cast such a spotlight on, but up until now, we've not seen what the English voice acting within this game is like, and the devs have also said nothing about it. Before I continue, I've gone ahead and collected together all of the clips within this footage, and so here are all of them, one after the other.
Cool. Let's go.
You see that abandoned village ahead? I suggest you search for clues there first.
Is someone there, Ku? Do you have something, Ku?
Keep moving. It might seem a lumbering giant, but it's something extraordinary.
It's retreating. Back to its lair, maybe?
Now, straight away, the tone of things here sounds slightly different, but in a good way. Emma sounds soft and stoic, whereas the other male voice actor has a kind of static to his voice, probably caused by the comms. But just from the little I've seen, I get the impression that this is far less upbeat anime styles of voice acting and tone, and instead far deeper, slower, and just generally more mature. This is exactly what I'd hoped for from this game. The devs said they focused on loneliness, death, and companionship for the themes of this game, and so it's only right that it should be quite mature and paced well with its characters and story. And again, whilst we've only seen a snippet, things do look quite promising so far. Now, as a final little section that may contain some spoilers, we're going to cover what we know of the beginning few hours of the game. It seems that the game opens up to an all-out battle. We've no idea who or what we're fighting for right now, but Emma and Ku are both basically max level, with very endgame equipment and abilities, represented by all of these flowers right here. It seems that this large-scale battle that is the prologue is used to introduce us to many of the different mechanics, basically thrusting us straight in and not starting slow by any means. After the prologue, it seems the next few hours of gameplay are comprised of either playing through some flashbacks so as to set up Emma and Ku's relationship, as well as their overall motivations, but we've no idea if we constantly flashback every 30 minutes or so, or if it's just one big segment after the prologue. Now, in summary, folks, I've covered Beast of Reincarnation quite extensively so far, and I do have to say that this showcase is one of the best I've seen for it. It's gaining some good traction, shows off some really cool stuff, and has also gave us tons of confirmation on a bunch of things we've only speculated on so far. I have some other videos filling in massive gaps if this is your first Beast of Reincarnation video, and over the coming weeks and months I'll be dropping tons more like guides, news and updates, and so that is all then basically to say that do feel free to treat the channel as your one-stop spot for all things Beast of Reincarnation moving forward. Anyway, that would be it for this one, folks. I'll be back soon with plenty more, and I do of course have a range of guide and news videos on the channel already, so do feel free to stop on by and check things out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, peace.